Ooh.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access, the pre-game show. Packers, Eagles, Monday Night Football on the brink of Toyota-thon kicking off. Jordan Love under the lights against Jalen Hurts under the lights. I am so freaking fired up for this football game. We got Jacob joining us here from Wisconsin. Tim is over in lot one, probably got his shirt off right about now. Let's be honest, okay? He may be a little soused up. We don't know. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. Emilio may be joining us in a minute. I don't know what he said last day. What did he say? He was going to Home Depot to get.
He said he was going to Home Depot. Yeah,
get an antenna so he could watch the game.
So he might get picked up in a raid. We don't know.
You never know, man. Tom Holman might be hanging out there. You got to be careful with that stuff. So, listen, I'm excited about this game. I know many people have mixed feelings. I love the fact that the mainstream media and especially Eagles fans are so damn confident about this game. It's got me absolutely fired up. Is that Emilio in the chat? No, okay. Just pretty sure. All right. So, Jacob, we're going to dive into a bunch of stuff here for the pregame show. We're going to look at some of the over-unders, all that good stuff. The first thing I want to lead off with, though, we do have the inactive list here, and I'm trying to run down currently trying to run down the Eagles inactive list, but here we have the Packers inactive list thanks to Mr. Paul Brettel, the man, the myth, the legend. All right. Here are the inactives for the Packers. Wide receiver Matthew Gold, cornerback Nate Hobbs, kicker Lucas Havrasik, offensive lineman Jacob Monk and Donovan Jennings, along with defensive lineman Lucas Van Ness. We expected Hobbs to be out with the MCL. I expected Matthew Golden to be out. I don't know if you guys did or not, but we were talking about it. You know, he practiced earlier in the week. Then he did not participate. It's like maybe they'll let him rest, give it a go on Friday. The fact that he did not participate again, it was kind of the writing was on the wall. Matthew Golden would not be playing. And then, of course, Lucas Van Ness, we didn't expect him to play this week. They said that foot injury is taking a little longer than expected to heal as well. The offensive lineman, Monk and Jennings, those are probably healthy inactives, I would imagine. But I'm feeling pretty good about this inactive list. Matthew Golden, I want him on the field, don't get me wrong, but not at the detriment of him obviously, hurting that shoulder even worse, coming back too soon. We've kind of learned our lesson there with Watson and some of the other guys. So we were kind of expecting Matthew Golden to get his fair share of the targets with Musgrave stepping into the lineup for Tucker Kraft, and Tucker Kraft being the leading receiver up to this point, but obviously him being out of the game. Now it's going to kind of trend toward, we were talking about attacking kind of that mid-level here. Maybe Romeo Doubs having a big game potentially, right? Christian Watson, if they do go quarters looks and you end up getting one-on-one coverage, maybe take a shot or two over the top there, but don't get too far away from the running game. Jacob, how do you feel about this inactive list right off the bat, man? Again, I think it's pretty good news. Would love to have had Matthew Golden out there. As far as Nate Hobbs, you guys know how I feel about Carrington Valentine. I would much rather have Valentine on the field, at least right now. He could prove us wrong. But I feel good about this, man. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, we'd love to have Matthew Golden in the mix. It just didn't work out. And like you said, I just don't want to jeopardize him in the future. So really, really enjoy the fact that we can maybe just let him sit. And we do have a deep depth chart at that wide receiver position. I have faith in guys like Malik Heath. If Wicks can maybe shake off some of the dust and maybe have a resurgence game there. And then obviously we got Watson back and those types of guys, and steady Eddie, Mr. Dobbs. Same thing with Hobbs. Now, I also agree that I would prefer to see Carrington out there a little more, and this is going to be a type of game where he's going to be forced to be out there quite a bit more. So we'll see if that was a double-edged sword, or if we have something there in the fact that maybe we need to start thinking of a different type of rotation. And then with Havrasik, that's what it is. Monk, Jennings, I think those are some healthy scratches like we talked about. I really do want to get Lucas Van Ness back in the mix sooner than later. I think that's one of the things that our defense has been missing, is just another solid guy on that rotation that was up and coming and ascending, in my opinion. But all things considered, when you looked at the long list of injuries that we were looking at Wednesday, Thursday, this is pretty exciting to have, a limited amount of guys that can't go.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And listen, Dontavion Wicks, one of Jordan Love's trusted receivers, he's got an opportunity to get his fair share of targets. It'd be different if Tucker Kraft was not on the injured reserve. You kind of maybe press into 12 a little bit with Golden being out, but with Tucker being out, Wicks knows this offense much better than a Fitzpatrick or any other tight end that's not named Luke Musgrave. Larry Cano in the chat said, nice review today, Clayton, on Musgrave. That was a lot of fun, man. Jacob, what I did was went back to 2023 and dove into Musgrave's tape. And you guys remember that year he was tied in one, right? That was before Tucker Kraft kind of emerged after Luke Musgrave got hurt in 2024. And man, I'll tell you, what we seen was him attacking the flat. We seen two crossers. These are all fairly explosive plays, right? Flat, two crossers, two seam routes, and a corner route that we broke down. He can run pretty much anything on the route tree. And one thing that stood out to me is Matt LaFleur loves to run those climbs, those crosser routes with Musgrave. So I'm excited to see how he looks coming out. And Jacob, we kind of talked about this a second ago about the point spread. You were saying on your end, what were you seeing on the point spread?
Yeah, according to ESPN bets right now, they had it at Philly minus 1.5, and it sounded like that PFF had a little different.
PFF still had it at 1.5 point favorites for the Packers. They were minus 1.5, right? Well, just now it updated. It's now officially a push. Look at the market. The market is showing the spread at 0. So this is kind of a pick 'em game, if you will, right? That's if PFF's site isn't glitching out on us here. Now, notice the money has shifted a little bit, right? 78% of the money is on the Eagles. Now, remember yesterday, it started off at 90%. They teased the line a little bit. Then it went to 85-ish, right? Around 85, 83%. And they teased it again. And now it's down to about 78%. Again, the way I look at this is anytime the large majority of the money, the public's money, is on one team, sometimes you can kind of watch that thing sway a little bit. The closer you get to kickoff, you feel better about the team that the public is going against in that regard. In terms of the money line itself, 79% of the money is on the Eagles to just win outright. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this all plays out here. I see you have one mark here. What do we got here, Jacob?
Yeah, Phillies inactives. Quarterback Sam Howell, the emergency third quarterback. Jair Alexander, have you heard of him? Center Cam Jurgens, that may be a big one right there. Running back A.J. Dillon, have you heard of him? D-line Ty Robinson, and the cornerback Mac McWilliams, who I believe was a rookie this year.
There you go. So, yeah, missing Cam Jurgens, man. I don't know how good their backup center is or who that backup center even is. Let's see if they have anything on the lineups here real quick. They may actually have it listed. You hop over to defense. Toth is what it says. Look at that grade right there, son. 76.6. So has he been playing the whole time? Is that what we're learning here, Jacob? Because we've got 207 offensive snaps, it looks like. So the whole time PFF had Jurgens listed as a starter, it was actually Toth. Of course, it's showing him as a guard here, so I guess he's filling in at center is what we've got going on, right? So who is going to be the guy filling in the gap? All of these guys have significant snaps, so they're treating this as if they're all starters here, man. So there you go. Toth, Brett Toth out of Army was undrafted. He'll be playing center. It looks like 6'6", 304. Is that right? Does that sound right to you guys? Does PFF have that right, or are they smoking crack this evening? So regardless, Jacob, if that's the case, man, that's a pretty solid grade. So maybe that won't be as big a hit as we were hoping for there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Josh Myers was big. What was he, 6'5", around 300 and some odd pounds? I mean, 6'6", 306, that's a big boy. And they're just going to probably be able to, not miss a beat if they try to do that stupid tush push. But let's see if we got something in the hopper to maybe stuff that up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nate McSwain in the chat said, I've heard our D-line should dominate their backup linemen a lot before, and it never materialized. LOL. I'm hopeful, but we'll believe it when I see it. That's a great point. That was supposed to happen against Carolina. Of course, if you guys watch this show, what were we talking about? Don't expect a crazy aggressive pass rush with that front four because you're going to look to cage rush our boy Bryce Young, and that's exactly what happened all day. You didn't see those guys truly pinning their ears back and going after Bryce. They were trying to keep him in the pocket, and it worked. Their passing game was extremely limited. Unfortunately, their running game got going on us. So I forget all about this. Packers on top said A.J. Dillon revenge game. I forgot he even played for him, to be honest with you.
He's inactive, though, so.
There you go. So both him and Ja, they said, nah, we don't want none of that tonight, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Jacob, let's talk a little over-under here if you want to. I know you've got a few of these geared up for us. So let's start on the Packers side. Well, you know what? Since we've got their offense pulled up here, for Philly. Can you pull up Phillies? Would that be easy to do?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's start with Philly. I want to know what Hurts's over under is on passing, man. And we'll keep an eye on the chat here for super chats and all that good stuff. I want to give a shout out real quick. Wade Schiltz. All right, Wade Schiltz 4987 became a member here on YouTube. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for joining the posse. You are the man.
Yep. And just real quick before it gets too far, Jen Wright said Jacob must be really nauseous if I am. Jen, that's correct. I'm keeping it held in right now, but in about 30 minutes, I'm gonna be sweating. That's for sure. Nick McSwain said Parsons gonna get handsier than Jacob's clients tonight. I tell you what, they're nice girls. You don't put that name in their mouth. Anyways, Jalen Hurts, his over under for passing is gonna be 198.5 right now.
Okay.
And
198.5 for Hurts. What's his rushing over? Do we have that?
Yeah, for Hurts' rushing, it'll be 31.5.
Okay.
If you want to know about Saquon quick, or do you want to just touch on that?
Yeah, let's stick with Hurts for just a second. 198.5. What do I think their game plan will be? They're probably going to watch that tape against Carolina and go, hey, if Rico Dowdle can break one or two and get loose, surely Saquon can. Maybe they'll press into the run a little bit. That kind of feels, but then again, that number seems a little low for the kind of year that Jalen Hurts is having. I feel like he and Devonta Smith and obviously AJ Brown have been on the same page fairly well this year. They got a pretty solid passing attack. Man, that's tough. As bad as I hate to say it, I think I would hit the over on that, because I could also see it being a situation where maybe the Packers are leading at the end of the game and Jalen Hurts have to throw a little more than they want to. That could be the case as well. But how do you feel about that? What would you do, over under?
So I put together a couple lineups before I jumped on here, and I actually went under on both of those.
Okay.
On his pass yards and his rushing yards. I don't know why. I just feel like that the Green Bay Packers are going to be able to bottom up in the passing game. And then the running game, I just feel like that, under this, supposedly, I think I read a couple different articles and saw some different stuff that Jalen Hurts does not have very good, I shouldn't say very good, but has had kind of like a middle of the road performance when it comes to night games, whereas Jordan Love has just really shined, whether it's Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. And I just think that the environment at Lambeau Field, we're down, I think it's going to be right around 32 degrees without the wind chill once we hit the opening kickoff. So, and obviously I know Philly plays in cold weather and they understand that. And if you look at the way they're slotted out with their PFF grades, I mean, they're good across the board. They really are. I don't know why. For whatever reason, I woke up today and I thought, I think the Packers it's their game to lose. And I think that they've been playing in a way that if they come together as a team, put last week behind them, that I think we could, I don't want to say a boat race or nothing like that, but I feel like I'm confident in the way that they could, if they start strong, start soon, I think that it'd be hard pressed for Philly to kind of come back in this game. But that being said, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, no, and the big thing for me is some of the stuff that we covered in the game plan throughout the week. Listen, Philly is really, really, really good at protecting the football, right? Not giving the ball away. And they're also really good in the red zone. If you could try to slow those two aspects of their game down, without those two statistics, I think Philly probably has a losing record up to this point. That's where they've really dominated. In the red zone, touchdown score percentage in the red zone, and then protecting the football. So there's two ways you can combat that protecting the football thing, right? Take the ball away from them, like many teams haven't been able to do, or first and foremost, protect the football on your side so that turnover differential kind of balances out, right? It's going to be one of those games. If you lose the turnover battle, you're probably going to lose this ball game, right? So let's see if we can force some turnovers. Now, we also broke down some tape earlier today with Micah Parsons and his sacks against Jalen Hurts and over the last 2 years. And he plays really, really well against Jalen Hurts. You can tell Jalen Hurts is a little bit hesitant when Micah's on the field because Micah's so fast, he can close on him in a split second. So that's another thing to take into consideration there as well. So, again, it's going to come down to how they want to rush them. I guarantee you they see on tape that when they play a dual-threat quarterback, Philly is seeing on tape, hey, they're cage rushing. Don't expect them to really pin their ears back and get. This might be the night to surprise them and do that, So, and it gets easier said than done with that awesome offensive line too, for sure. So,
yeah. The other reason why I kind of thought that is just like I saw people in the chat. I just feel like Philly's going to try to establish the run early and often. And to your point, I think Micah Parsons really knows what it's like to have to contain and play against Jalen Hurts, and hopefully he's got his number dialed up. And obviously we got Rashawn on the opposite side. I think the two of them are going to be headhunting all game, but like strategically and not, blowing past them like we've seen in years past. I think they're going to have some scheme. I think Hafley's going to dial it up. And I don't know. I just have a feeling like we're going to be able to contain Jalen Hurts a little more, but I could eat my words. Who knows?
I like it. I'll tell you who needs to be contained, and that's Tim over there in lot 1. He just tweeted this video out. Jacob, they getting rowdy out there in lot 1. Hopefully we won't get hit with a copyright for whatever song they're playing. Here we go. All right, you get the idea. Lot 1 getting rowdy out there, man. I bet I'd love to smell the food in lot 1 tonight. Look at my guy coming over. He said, "Get the hell out of the way. I'm trying to eat
out of here."
You love to see it, man. Look at the cheese head, the random cheese head with the thick stash. Is that Affam? No, he's at a Chiefs game.
Blake B. Go Pack Go says, "Tailgate band, what up? My aunt and uncle, our cousins are in lot 1 too. Have them go find Tim."
Man, when you said my aunt and uncle, our cousins, I thought, y'all from Kentucky too? That's cool. Well. No, but listen, lot 1 looking right. There's no snow flying to the best of my knowledge right now, right? You don't see any kind of flurry going on. So I think there's a very, very slight chance of flurries tonight, but you never know, man. That Lambeau mystique pops up.
Caterpillar says, "That's a vet move right there. Watch it elevates the plate. Got to get it past the zone." He understands what's going on.
You got to rise above the drunks there when you're carrying the food, man. That's the way it goes for sure. So let's see here. Nick McSwain in the chat said Micah Parsons had 19 solo tackles, 10 assists, and 5 sacks in 7 games versus the Eagles in his career. I can actually pull those up for you guys and gals real quick. I'll do that. Jacob, do they have any kind of over-unders for sacks? I've never asked you that. Do they have anything like that?
They do actually, but generally it's going to be like a 0.5. Well, hey, this is interesting. So Micah Parsons right now, they have a 0.25, Rashawn Gary 0.25, Zach Bonds a 0.5. So usually what you can do, like with certain sites nowadays, you can actually switch up. So if you'd like, that changes the odds. So you can switch it from a 0.25 to a Micah Parsons was the 1.5. It changes the goblin, like a green goblin to a red goblin. So basically it increases your odds of the payout. So if you want to get a little more risky, it gives you a little more reward. But as of just the kind of set level that they have right now, kind of the par is both Gary and Parsons at just 0.25 sacks. I would probably hammer both those, to be honest. I feel it.
Feeling the buzz tonight. All right, so here's what I posted earlier, Jacob. We'll go 75%, so it plays a little bit slower. This is Micah Parsons' last 4 games against the Eagles. He's basically, I think he ended up with 4.5 sacks over the last 4 games. Okay, so here he was in Dallas. Obviously, you can see this. Okay, can't you? You good? Yep. All right. So you can see he's lining up kind of like in a wide 9 tech. He's got a DB on his outside shoulder. You got a couple guys mugging the A gap here. Obviously looking to put pressure there. It's getting in a little tighter. All right. So we'll watch him work off the edge here. This is going to be a TE stunt. 97 going to cross the face of the tackle. Going to engage with the guard, take him into the tackle, and then Micah's going to jab step and loop back off of that for what we call a TE stunt. And you see right here, oh crap, there's 11. And he thinks he's going to outrun him. Then he realizes, I can't outrun this guy. He runs a 4.340, right? So we're done. All right, end of play. Now, next play, you got Micah again lined up over the left tackle, outside, wide 9 look. And here you're going to see, watch him slap the, so he's going to kind of, it's almost like he was starting to set up the outside move and then give the little mini Reggie White hump move, right? Comes around. And nowhere for Jalen Hurts to go. Actually strips the ball out, and they recover on the 6-yard line there. So beautiful, beautiful play there. Another play from Micah Parsons as a Cowboy against the Eagles. Once again, over the left tackle, wide 9 look. They did not chip him here. Watch him work the hands, Jacob. Watch his hands. Bang, right?
Nice.
That's what you're looking for right there. That is not good technique, my friends. And he's just going to work with speed off the edge. They'll rip, come back around, relentless. Finish the sack off on Jalen Hurts. And then one more for you here. Going to work off the left side this time. So wide 9 off the right tackle. That's Lane Johnson, by the way. So what did we show you here? We showed a TE stunt, showed a little mini hump move, right? We showed you work the hands and speed rush to the outside with a rip. Watch him run right through Lane Johnson's face. It's a power rush from Micah Parsons. Look at that. Just drive. So that's what we're looking for right there from Micah Parsons tonight. Again, there's just something about him against Jalen Hurts He plays really, really good football, man. So what'd you say it was? Was it a 0.5? Was the over under? Is that what it was?
0.25 right now.
So a half sack will get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Would you want to set a lineup on prospects and let the chat maybe dictate it, and then if we do happen to win, I'll donate it to whatever cause we're doing?
Let's do it, man. Can we do it without slowing the show down too bad? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can just do it in 2 seconds. It just takes.
Set it up.
I think there's 6 different metrics. If you guys wanted to we could do the pass yards. We have to pick at least one Eagles player. So not sure how you wanted to do that. I personally love doing receiving yards and receptions. So for instance, let's see right here. They've got Romeo Doubs at 4.5, AJ Brown 4.5, Dallas Goedert 4, Devontae Smith 4.5, Josh Jacobs 3, Saquon Barkley 1.5, Christian Watson 2.5, Luke Musgrave 1.5. I'll let the chat maybe see if any one of those jump off. Anything like that.
The one that sticks out to me is hammer the over of 2.5 catches for Christian Watson, I believe.
I agree with that.
I like that. With Matthew Golden being out, he's going to be playing speed Z and probably mixing into the F a little bit tonight too. So think about how he's going to be getting some of the targets from Golden. Actually, some of Romeo's targets here lately because Romeo's been splitting into the F a little bit too. What was Wicks's over under?
Wicks would be, let's take a look here. His is going to be 2.5.
2.5 for Wicks. I would stay away from that one probably.
John Fitzpatrick is a 0.5, and so is Malik Heath. So one catch will do it.
Man, it's interesting. So Fitzpatrick's definitely going to be in the lineup. Think of how many times Musgraves got the ball when Kraft was healthy, right? I would stay away from that one too. How do you feel about it? I don't want this to be my picks. How do you feel about that with Fitzpatrick? You like it?
I would get more comfortable with Luke Musgrave 1.5.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do that. Let's go Musgrave, and we're going more than 1.5, right?
Yeah. Let's go into rush yards quick. Jordan Love 11.5. Emmanuel Wilson 20.5. Jalen Hurts 31.5. Saquon 76.5, and Josh Jacobs at 67.5.
I think the under on Jalen Hurts' rushing yards there.
You like that?
I do.
I kind of was thinking that too.
We don't have to pick it, but let us know in the chat. What was it again? The over-under on Jalen Hurts' rushing yards? Because we got to pick one Eagle, right?
Correct. 32.5 rushing yards.
All right. Let us know in the chat, guys. Over or under? Hurts 32.5 rushing yards. Over or under? Keep going, Jacob. What else you got?
Yeah. Can we smash the Jordan Love 11.5 rushing yards over?
11.5 rushing yards for Jordan Love. Trying to think. They're going to be playing a little bit of shell, most likely. The pass rush hasn't been great for them. That makes me think maybe he'll be able to sit in the well unless they get their crap together tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of looking at it from that perspective. Yeah. That's how I usually dictate the pass rushing yards or the quarterback rushing yards. Everybody saying under on Hurts. Does anybody say over on Hurts? Anybody?
I'm saying a lot of under.
All right, let's definitely take the under on Hurts. Okay, 32.5 rushing yards. We're going with the Watson over, right, on the 2.5 receptions.
Over on the Musgrave 1.5.
Yeah, over on the 1.5.
Do you guys think we should throw in one of them, either Micah Parsons or Rashawn Gary at that 0.25 sack range? To me, oof,
so tough, man. If you had to pick, chat, which would you take? That if you had to pick between one edge defender or these two edge defenders, which one? Rashawn Gary or Micah Parsons to get a half sack? Let's ask it that way, okay? Yeah. Which of those two would you pick? I don't feel comfortable taking them both, right? And Nicholas says Gary, and he's probably thinking if they put extra attention to Micah, may free up Gary tonight, right? Everybody's kind of feeling Gary. All right, there we got one for Parsons, so it's 2-1 Gary right now, right? Gary, again, Parsons. Over a half a sack. Or over, I'm sorry, a half a sack, just a half a sack, right? Yeah. Parsons because of the speed rush, Micah. So it looks like Parsons is leading now. Let's get two more votes. Let's get two more votes. Parsons had one for the last 4 games, ride the trend. I think it's pretty unanimous. Let's do it. Let's go Parsons.
All right.
And that's once again over on a quarter of a sack, right?
This is one that I like doing. It's a fantasy score. Jalen Hurts 19, Josh Jacobs 16. That to me seems, but whatever. Romeo Doubs 12. That one right there. So it's a point. It's a PPR, so point per reception, and all he would need, I mean, if he gets 4 or 5 catches for even 60 yards, he's almost right there. If he gets a touchdown, it's pretty much automatic.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
Hammer that. All right, cool.
Yeah. So how does that read, Dobbs? Is this going to be a parlay or are these just individuals?
I'm gonna do. It'll be 6 total, and then we'll just
Okay.
bet maybe $2, $3, $4, something like that.
All right. What's Dobbs again? What was his?
12 points fantasy score.
12 fantasy points. Got it. All right. Cool.
And then, boy, let's see.
That's wild that they mix and match the fantasy points in with the over under stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we could even go as crazy as field goals made. They're just giving McManus a half a field goal, so he just has to make 1 field goal.
McManus 1 field goal. Well, it's funny you bring that up. I think we got a little video footage here. Bill Huber jumped the gun a little bit earlier. We accept his apology. He said Haversick getting in some work. He said, this is McManus. I'm an idiot. So there's McManus during pregame. I'm trying to see how far out that is. See if we get a pause here for you guys. All right. So kicking off the tee, obviously, right? Well, not off the tee, but the extra holder there. So what is that? The 42, add 10. That's 52 plus another 7. Usually is what it is. Right? No. So that's where the ball's spotted. I apologize. That's not where it's being snapped from. So 42. So that'd be a 52 yarder right there. Yeah. Let's see what we got. How much does he have left? Oh yeah. Yeah. So what was the number again?
He just needs to kick 1 field goal and we'd be in the money.
Let's have it.
Yeah. All righty.
McManus field goal.
Should we finalize that one? It's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's roll with it.
That'd be an over. Brandon McManus getting 1 field goal. Jalen Hurts is going to be held under 32.5 rushing yards. We're going to go over on Luke Musgrave's 1.5 receptions, over on Micah Parsons' 0.25 sacks, and over on Romeo Dobbs having over 12 fantasy points. I like it. All right.
There you go. Good stuff. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy. Hey, guys, with Tucker down, I think tonight we're going to switch from tight end-driven team to a wide receiver-driven team. Just a gut feeling. I agree, man. Press into 11, man. Get into that 11 personnel a little bit deep tonight. Spread things out a touch. And their pass defense has been very, very suspect this year. So, again, you still got to be aware where Cooper DeJean is, right? You can't expect Jalen Carter to just lay down. I found out here earlier today he's been battling a shoulder injury. It's probably why he's been struggling. He's as healthy as he's been all year. I think they said Nolan Smith was going to be active, if I remember correctly. I'm assuming he is. So, I'm with you, though, man. And that's why maybe Wicks or like we were talking about there with Christian Watson potentially having a big day as well. If they start to bracket Christian because Golden's out and they know Christian's a speed guy, if they bracket him, Dobby, we may be onto something with that 12 fantasy points there, Jacob, with Dobby. But Mike Witt, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. And then Caterpillar just throws super chat and said, I got 5 on it, boys. Appreciate it.
Perfect. I bet $5 if we went out, get all 5 of them right, we'll have $30. We'll either give it towards the donation or maybe just give it back to you guys on a wheel or something like that. Reverse super chat, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. He said,
That's
I got
right.
5 on it.
It's a great song.
It is a great song. I've never heard it. So I'll tell you who's not letting the cold bother him tonight. Rob Demoski tweeted this. I'm so excited to watch this guy play. Carrington Valentine out there in the shorts and the sleeveless shirt. That Kentucky boy. Listen, it got cold in Lexington too. It got cold down here in Lexington. Not like it does in Wisconsin, but it got cold in Lexington. So Carrington Valentine, I'm excited to watch tonight, Jacob. How do you think he's going to hold up, whether it's Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown lined up on him? They'll probably mix and match, probably see which one's hot, whether it's going to be Keyshawn or Carrington and pick on the other, I would imagine. I have all the faith in the world in Carrington Valentine, man. I hope he doesn't prove me wrong tonight, but it would be absolutely awesome if he got an interception tonight, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just love the way he plays. It's one of the biggest criticisms I've actually had of the defense is just I feel like that when we give money to certain players, we just feel the need that we have to play them, maybe in situations where other players have really outperformed and gained the right to have more snaps. And this is his time to shine. Like Hobbs is obviously a no-go today, and Valentine has had spurts where he looks really great, but then every now and then, I mean, and that's the whole life and career of a cornerback is you're going to have spurts where you're looking really good, and there's going to be a couple that make you look like a bonehead. And it sounds like complete coach speak, but you got to learn how to put those plays directly behind you and just keep playing. And I think CV has the mentality where, yeah, he's cocky, he's a little arrogant, he's a little boisterous sometimes, but he backs it up a lot of the snaps. So if he can just keep it together, and even if he has a game where he lets maybe 4 or 5 catches underneath and maybe 30-40 yards, no tuds, that to me is a win. He seems like he's a physical guy that can make that kind of thing happen, and it's going to be tough to absolutely knock out AJ Brown and, like you said, Devontae Smith, and even guys like Goddard and stuff like that. They've got a lot of playmakers, so it's going to be a tough ask. But I think that they can, if anyone can do it, I think CV's up to the challenge.
No doubt, and it's worth mentioning. I think they said Goddard has 7 touchdowns. So if you're wondering who's really maximizing that red zone efficiency for the Eagles, it's going to be Goddard there. So what I would like to see is try to get Edgerrin Cooper matched up on Goddard tonight. You know what I mean? Put our best against their best there for sure. So, all right, moving along here. Bill Huber did another video real quick of Brandon McManus warming up, and this one, Jacob, they've actually got the holder out there. This one good from 55. Let's watch it roll. How much did he have on it there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That would have been good probably from 60 right there. Fairly really close. So they're testing the range. You're feeling really good about anything really around 50, 52, somewhere around there. You're feeling really good with his distance. And we'll see if the wind gets to swirling, right? I know earlier in the week they were talking about it was going to be some fairly heavy winds. It looks to me like it's kind of died down there. I don't see a lot of stuff whipping around, but people may disagree out there in the parking lot. So what do you think about that 55-yarder? He looks good to me. He looks healthy now. That's for sure.
It looks way more comfortable. That whole exchange of his the process of his leg coming through looks like it's way easier. I don't, when he had that quad injury, it just, I don't want to say I'm not an expert at kicking and form and all that. It just did look like he was a little bit just kind of gimping on it a little bit, like he wasn't quite trusting the plant leg or the follow through. This time it does look like it's just fluid, more kind of in motion. And he's the type of guy where he's going to tell you he's good to go even if he's not. It does seem like though that he is maybe kind of fully healed. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever gotten a freaking even just a bruise on your leg, and just the idea that you can go out there and kick, and let's not forget it's going to be about 30 degrees. That football feels a little solid, I'm sure, as he's booting that thing in that type of weather. It does look like it's coming off the foot a little more effortlessly than we've seen the last few weeks. So I look for him to have a big game, and I think asking 1 field goal from the homie so we can make the parlay. Let's go, B Manny. Let's go.
Amen. So we'll see what McManus does out there tonight. Also, Ant, it's at PCK3RS on X, tweeted this out, said Coop doing this thing again. This was Edgerrin Cooper's his Instagram story earlier today. As you can see, got Michael Myers hanging out in the closet here, boy. Well, we need a big Coop game. That's what we need, especially somebody to help neutralize Dallas Goedert and just lay the thump on Saquon Barkley when he does come through that hole. Whether it's A, B, or C gap, get in there, impose your will. I don't know, man. I'm feeling really good about this game. I may be feeling totally different in the post-game show, but right now, I am way too confident right now. Usually by this time, it's like, okay, man. Like people pointed out earlier in the week, or actually earlier today, I think you were talking about the McAfee show too. They were like, man, the Packers, sometimes they'll play. I hate saying playing down to teams, but it just seems like when they play an opponent that everybody expects them to beat, it's always a close game, but they get up for the good teams, man. You think about Dallas there in the playoffs when they boat race them, right? You think about Pittsburgh on the road in primetime. There's something about Jordan Love under the lights in primetime, man. He really shines, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about it. Is it technically the start of Toyotathon, but we're getting in there. I mean, anytime where it's playing a night game, it's around 30 degrees. I know in the little screenshot we have, there's some flurries. I doubt there will be any flurries, but you just have that kind of crisp. It's not fall anymore. It's more like pre-winter. Wisconsin kind of has like 6 seasons. It's like pre-spring and then spring, summer, fall, pre-winter, winter. Like this is kind of where we're at. We're pre-winter. For those of y'all that deer hunt in Wisconsin, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's that kind of in between different weeks in November where it could be like negative, 10 degrees. It could be in the 60s, but every now and then it fluctuates and you just get that little taste of winter. I feel like the guys are going to be ready to go. And don't get me wrong, Philly plays in cold weather too. So it's not that big of an advantage per se, but there's just something about that first cold weather game. I think that they're going to come out really, really excited to play tonight.
Yeah, and with it being cold weather, maybe this is the game that Josh Jacobs breaks out. Remind me again, what was his over-under, Jacob? What was Josh Jacobs' over-under for rushing yards?
Yeah, I can tell you in 2 seconds here.
You take your time, and I'm going to pull up this Musgrave clip that we showed earlier today too and let everybody check that out. I want to get your all state because I feel confident that Musgrave can continue doing what he did in 2023, and Lord knows he knows this offense much, much better up to this point in his career as well. Do you got that, Jacob?
Yeah, 67.5.
Man, that's a tough number, right? 67.5. I feel like he's as healthy now as he's been all year, though, right? Wouldn't you say, Josh Jacobs? I mean, there's been no setbacks.
No, I agree.
I think I feel okay about it, man. What about Emmanuel Wilson? Do they have one there or no?
Yeah, they do. He's at 20.5.
20.5.
And they got Savion Williams at 0.5 rushing yards.
Do they really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. If they do show shell, are we going to get at least one jet sweep out of Savion Williams?
Or even, didn't they do like some crazy Wildcat stuff or run him up the middle? I can't remember what. Man, that'd be fun. I wish I would have seen that one in that parlay. That would have been fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put it up here at top. I know we're not betting on it, but I'm just going to put 0.5 rushing yards, right, for Savion. Just because I want to revisit that, see if we were on that or not, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I could have bought that property back in 1998. I'd be a millionaire.
I had me 100 million Bitcoin back in 2002.
So you did buy it. No, you didn't. Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
You didn't buy it. Okay, let's not talk about it. Mike went with the super chat. Thank you, Mike. He says, don't know about Micah or Rashawn, but I have a gut feeling of Wyatt having a good game tonight. That's interesting. Do we have an over-under for sacks for Wyatt, or did they not go that deep in the defensive tackle room, Jake?
I can tell you in 2 seconds here. So they got Gary, Quay Walker at half, Edgerrin Cooper 0.25, Devontae Wyatt at 0.25.
0.25.
They got Kingsley at 0.25 and Carl Brooks at 0.5.
I like what Mike did there, man, because if Rashawn Gary is cage rushing and they have the one tech playing a touch spy, like when they let Gary and Micah go, they'll play a touch spy against mobile quarterbacks out of the one tech. Devontae Wyatt's always rushing the quarterback. That one might be more appealing than the Micah Parsons one, to be honest with you. That's a great point, Mike. Great point. So don't be afraid to hammer that one, I don't think. So, all right. Appreciate the super chat, man. Here's the video we put out earlier today, Jacob. I just said people forget about Tucker Kraft, before Tucker Kraft took over at tight end. Luke Musgrave was a big focal point of the Packers offense. Really excited to see how he responds to the opportunity tonight. Here's a handful of plays he made as a rookie. And again, we covered some of this earlier. So you'll notice him down here. They're in a bunch nasty X look. At the bottom, you'll see he's playing you on this specific rep. And he's just going to leak out in the flat like Tucker does, right? Catch the ball at the 40. I'm going to take it all the way down. What about a 15-yard gain there, right? No wasted motion. Nice little rep. Next play, now he's playing Y in that Trey right look. They're kind of nasty split on the right side. You see Watson outside. Here's going to be one of those climb routes, I believe. So you just see him kind of climb across the field, find the open space. Beautiful throw by Love. Secure it. Took a lick. Drew the flag too. Guy hitting a defenseless receiver there. Now he's back in the Y in a 12 twins look, all right? They're going to use a little motion to get Wicks outside. And once again, you're seeing Musgrave run that climb route. That's what they like to do with him. Bang, secure the catch. Great grab. Next, I think these next two, you're going to see him work the seam. This is that play we were talking about the other day, Jacob. What they're going to do is they're going to bring the F on orbit motion. He's going to come around the quarterback. They're going to fake a swing pass to him, fake a swing pass to Dylan, and then throw it on a leak down the seam. This is a beautiful play. Beautiful play. Watch Musgrave. Chip, release, butt naked through the trailer park, man. Touchdown.
Love that play.
Right, so there's a little seam route underneath. Now you're going to get a true seam route here. He's going to run a post. You see now he's in the 2, what we call Y-flex 2 in a Trey left look. And he's just going to attack the seam here, right? Great job. Ball was thrown a little bit behind. Yeah, dude. Stride length, man. His stride length is very, very deceiving for sure. Here he is in the 3 in a Trey right look. And this is going to be a corner route. Watch him bend. Nice little route. Good secure catch. Obviously the ground caused the ball to break loose there, so it wasn't actually a fumble. So now you're seeing a corner route. And then this was my favorite, the old dragon wheel. You remember this in the playoff game against Dallas? Heavy play fake, aggressive play fake to the right, and he's going to run a drag and a wheel route, and he's going to be butt naked in the trailer park right here, man. Look at this. Wide open. Jordan's going to throw that fade away. Musgrave had to come back for it. Stayed on his feet. Takes it in for 6. So I'm excited, man. I think Musgrave's being overlooked a little bit, Jacob. I don't know how you feel, man. What's his over-under? Did you say? You did, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, we did his receptions were just 1.5, but let's look at his yards real quick. They've got him slated at 30.5.
30.5. I like the reception better.
Me too.
Definitely. But
Me too.
you never know. Yeah. Yep. He gets 3 or 4 catches, he's probably going to exceed that 30 mark. Because listen, Tucker Kraft, he's the yak king. We talk about it all the time. A lot of that stuff, he's schemed open And then he picks up that extra 8 or 9 yards at the end where he's just running through people's faces, obviously. So you don't expect Musgrave to do that, but I do think he can be schemed open the same as Tucker Kraft. We've talked about that ad nauseum. People are probably tired of hearing me talk about it. But what else you got, Jake? Anything else you want to hit here, Jacob? I'm going to comb through X one last time and make sure we're not missing anything here.
Yeah, just real quick. A.J. Brown, 56.5 yards receiving. Romeo Dobbs, 55.5. Devontae Smith, 55.5. Christian Watson, as we talked about, 44.5. Dontavian Wicks, that's one maybe people aren't thinking about, 25.5 receiving yards. They've got Dallas Goedert, who I think could have a surprisingly big game unless we decide to bottle him up, like you said, hopefully having Cooper on him, 36.5 yards. And then just real quick, we talked about Savion Williams with the 0.5, Jordan Love with the 11.5 rushing yards, Emmanuel Wilson 20.5, Jalen Hurts 32.5, Saquon Barkley at 76.5. So they are still thinking that he's going to get quite a bit of yardage. Not quite sure how I feel about that one there, but yeah, man. And then just another receiving yard one that I think we should think about would be their other tight end, Grant Calcaterra. He's sneaky in the red zone, like you talked about. He's one of those guys where if you get into that, the Eagles are really, they've been harder to get into the red zone than in years past, but when they get there, they're just very efficient at getting touchdowns, not field goals. Look for a guy like Grant Calcaterra to sneak in there and steal a touchdown. But then we got 3 guys that I think would easily slam the over on all these if you really wanted to. Malik Heath, 4.5 receiving yards, John Fitzpatrick, 5.5, and Savion Williams at 4.5 receiving yards.
There you go. Nice. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, Mike. And for the love of God, Matt, no behind the line of scrimmage screens tonight. LOL. I kind of feel like you're going to see less of that tonight just because of the type of defense that the Eagles run. I'm kind of looking at that midline type, that somewhere between 12 to 22 yards, that range. You're probably going to see some coverage get walked out and some digs underneath. You'll also see when they do go to cover one man from time to time, you'll probably see some crossers. Matter of fact, let's get a quick refresher on their coverage. Jacob, I got the graphic right here. When you look at the Eagles coverage, they're in the bottom half of the league in terms of EPA per dropback allowed at a positive 0.09. The majority of the time, they're running cover 3 zone, middle field close, 3 deep zone defense, right? 28% of the time they run that. 25% of the time they're running cover 1 man. You got to be careful with some of these numbers because sometimes the people that are charting these numbers, they will chalk a match coverage off as cover 1 man because it kind of turned into cover 1 man. Just keep that in mind. But nonetheless, 25%. So what you're saying is a large majority of the snaps there, right? Not a large majority, but what would they be? 53% of their snaps on defense, they're in middle field close between cover 3 and cover 1 man end result, right? And then the next defense they run the most, 17% of the time, they're in that quarters coverage we talk about, cover 4 defense, all right? 16% of the time, they're playing cover 6, all right? And then 4% of the time, they're in cover 2, and then they drift into zero blitz from time to time, 3% of the time, and they actually play 2-man under 2% of the time. The Packers are still playing 0% 2-man under. Again, 2-man under, guys, is when you play 2 deep safety zone, like they get deep half responsibilities, and the guys are playing underneath technique typically in man coverage. So that's kind of how their defense looks there. When you look at that, the thing that worries me a little bit is the cover 6 defense. That can be tricky to read because sometimes they'll drift into cover 7 or cover 9 and kind of flip the script on you. I feel confident in the way Jordan Love's seeing the field. It won't be an issue for him, but that is something to take into consideration. There, you got to change things up, Jacob. You do, don't you, man? You're a pro. Dude. You're a pro. Emilio, what's up, man?
I'm sorry, Jacob. You had the two running.
I love seeing his blood pressure get up, Emilio. I actually enjoy it, dude. All right, let's hit these super chats real quick. Help me with them, Emilio. Reality shift with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. So I'm not even nervous about Philly. I'm more nervous about Denver personally. Denver's one of those tricky teams, man. They really are. They can either be a world beater team or they'll be one that kind of comes out flat and they still figure out a way to win ball games, man. Sean Payton's got that team playing good, no doubt. So what do you think about that, Emilio? Which are you more nervous about, Philly in primetime Monday Night Football or the Denver Broncos a little later in the year?
I'd say I'm more nervous about Philly at the moment right now. Denver, yeah, they're the kind of the sleepy team, but Philly's had our number past 2 years, and it's something we just got to kind of get off our back. Losing to them twice last year, we got to get that taken care of. Denver, it's a 1 every 4 years kind of situation. We just need to get through it.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jacob? I don't know if you got your rig set up yet or not. Which one, if you had to pick one game where you think, okay, I like our chances better, would it be against the Eagles or against the Broncos, right? Or you just kind of you have any dominant feelings there?
I guess I'm more. Let's worry about tonight, and then after this, I'll pick one. But I mean, if you had made me forced to pick, I am worried about the Denver game. I think that they're possibly a more well-rounded team. I just, for whatever reason, I have a lot of confidence tonight. You know, I could be completely wrong in this post-game show. You'll see me hanging my head, trying not to cry like a little baby. But I do feel like that. I think right now that Denver's a little more of a scary team. That's just me personally.
Got it. I'll tell you who's not going to be hanging their head tonight. It's this cat right here. You kidding me? Look at my man. Look at that. He's locked in, dude. Look at that. Locked in. A couple of guys locked in here. First, let's start with Chris, or start with our boy Jordan Love. Look at those eyes right there, boys. Ready for battle. Christian Watson looking fly. Got the red kicks on. Looking good.
Nice.
I love. Look at these boots that Gary's got on. You got their ass wash or something? Look at that. You ready to go boot? He said, "Forget belt to ass. We're going boot to ass tonight, boys. That's what's happening." So
they're going to enlarge those things like the Rome helmet picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Perfect. We need to be the first ones to do that, Emilio. Get on that, man. With your burner account that you're probably trolling me with.
Oh yeah.
I quit with the super chat, and you heard it here first. Savion, before the end of the year, is going to take a kick return to the house. Just to feel he looks good in kick return, man. I pointed out the other day on the show, breaking it down. And he's, what was he, like 12th or 13th in the league in return yards, right? And he's averaging right at like 25 yards a return. Yeah. So I feel really confident when I see that big guardian cat back there fielding the kickoff. I feel really good about it. What about you, Jacob? Do you like what Savion's done on kick returns here? I
personally love it, yeah. And I'd like to see if he's got something in the punt return game. Like, I just don't like seeing Romeo back there. I really like what he's doing in the kick return game. I think it just seems natural for him, fluid. And what's surprised, I don't know if he did it a ton in college, which he just seems like he's a natural at it. Long strides, seems like he's more of like makes one or two cuts. He's not kind of dancing back there. Seems like he's I think he's like 6'4", over 200 pounds. So it's not like tackling a little cornerback or something like that. He's a grown ass man. So if I hope that they keep him back there and that he keeps progressing in that role. And I think that could be something that maybe, like to this gentleman here's point, that down the stretch, if he becomes more of a factor, kind of like how Keyshawn did over in past years, where it's like you really got to watch out for this guy, that'd be a great thing to have.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Emilio?
Absolutely. Like Jacob
He's
said,
a grown-ass man now. And
you know, you get and it's tough, right? He had the fumble last week. You're still a bunch of learning lessons for the guy being a rookie, but I think that he's got kind of that the feel for it. You saw it on some of the tape at TCU. He can just weave and sort of gets nimble in between some of those big fellas and can make it happen. I think that's going to be huge for him in that return game. But again, we're going to have him step up. He's going to have to make plays here and there. You're going to have injuries, in the wide receiver core, anything like that. So you need to know your plays, and you got to be able to go out there and perform. I don't know if you had talked about it. Still, we're going to sleeveless for the wide receiving core. I think they're going to keep that going, right? I don't know if we had.
I don't know, man. I'm one of these guys. I'd rather win the ball game than try to act tough. You know what I'm saying?
But I know I'd fair on that to the act tough point. But man, I'm telling you, those sleeves, Clay, slippery sometimes when the ball's on it, man.
It's a valid point. Thank you for the super chat, Mike. We appreciate you, buddy. You guys are too kind tonight. Michael Zimmerman with the super chat. Appreciate you. If we can getting 88 in a scheme against a linebacker, if we can get 88, talking about Musgrave, in a scheme against a linebacker in the seams of this man too deep coverage. Thanks, fellas. Can we? I think is what he's asking here, right?
Yeah.
I think what you're going to see is middle field close, so the seam is going to be kind of tough, right? They're going to have a post safety if they're playing. If the numbers hold true to what we've shown and what they've done tendency-wise up to this point in the season, they're going to be in cover 3 and cover 1 man the majority of the night. That means post safety. That's going to be. It doesn't mean you can't scheme that open. And really, the way you probably want to do that is maybe work an inline tight end in Musgrave or just slightly flexed on some kind of delay down the seam, and maybe have the 2 on that side, or even a nasty split with the Z, have him walk him out with a post, and then maybe work him on what I call an angle route, what Emilio calls a Texas route, kind of bend out. We've seen that earlier with Tucker. Remember, they were walking that safety out. That could be the case as well. That 2 deep man, Mike, though, just to mention, they're going to be in that. It's going to be very, very rare that they're in 2 deep man. Okay. So, again, I think in cover 1 and cover 3, the majority of the night, cover 6 gets tricky because if you get caught reading post snap wrong and you throw into the quarter side and they match up on that tight end hitting the seam, you could throw right into covers. Next thing you know, that ball is getting tipped up in the air and picked off. You got to be careful with that stuff. So, what do you guys think? You got anything you want to add to that question there from Michael?
No, I kind of like what Coach Len's saying. Crossing routes and corner routes will be key. Kind of just your,
yes,
middle field close. Just try to get away from that, and that I think that maybe kind of suits some of Musgrave's game too. Him being so quick and agile. And what are your thoughts, Emilio?
Yeah, and to Coach's point, kind of blend those two as well. We've seen Matt LaFleur get into some of those cross corner concepts where you get those two guys kind of crossing near the hashes, and then we bend it back out. Kind of similar to what Musgrave actually ran last week on that, but he flattened it out. Instead of taking it up on a corner, he kind of ran that around the backer, curved it up into the hash, put his foot in the ground, and came back out flat. Maybe just a little bit more of a corner there, but it's in his route tree. We saw him go up and get it, made a good hands catch. That's definitely a possibility, and I think something that's going to kind of test. Do they think they have the athleticism to run man-to-man with us a lot? All right, we'll see, because that's where you can get separation. And can we get separation against man? And then we need Jordan to dice up zone and kind of read those right when we get there.
Yeah, and the reality of that cross corner route, guys, most of the time it's a choice route, right, Emilio? Like they'll be setting up for a crosser. If they're playing outside leverage, funneling you to the post, and you flatten that off and you keep the crosser on, and now you've got the leverage on the outside technique of the corner in a cover 1 man or even a cover 3 look if the linebacker does try to drift with you. And then if they play and cheat to the inside trying to take the crossers away, that's the choice aspect that turns into the cross corner where you're starting a crosser, bring it back on a corner, and you put them in an absolute turnstile. So again, Michael Zimmerman, thank you for that super chat, buddy. Really shift with the super chat. Says, need to see Savion in some Wildcat formation action. We talked about it, Emilio. One of the things that we were looking at tonight, we did not bet on it. Okay. We put a little parlay together. So we're about to hit the lottery tonight, my man.
I'm with
so one of them we didn't bet on, but we thought was interesting. A half a rushing yard for Savion Williams. What do you think about that, man? Surely he'll get at least one end around or something, right? Or like Reality Shift's saying, maybe a little Wildcat look.
Yeah, definitely. I think an end around jet sweep, touch pass, something like that. But you said running yard, right? So it's got to be a handoff. I actually kind of like that. I think that, when Steno talked one time in his interview a couple weeks ago, talking about how when they had Savion in there and they give him a couple more options, they were asking if a pass is going to be in that. And we've gotten away from it for a couple weeks. So it might be on one of those rotation things where we're going to dive back into that a little bit more. Maybe we need to lean on it with tuck out. Maybe we just need to see if we can get a little, a spice up or something on the offense, get a little spark. And that could be the play. That could be the formation. Maybe you get a look you really like. You come back to that later on in the fourth. You hit it in the first or second just so you get one out in the first half, kind of get an idea. And just try not – we just don't want to be doing it when we're, in our own end, but maybe you need a spring play. So it's like you just kind of got to time that up right, and that's when the play calling comes into play. You're probably not going to call it on the 5, but you're not going to call it on your 5 either. So
right, and when it works, everybody loves it. When it doesn't work, you hear me complain. That's just the way we work as fans, right? For sure. Thank you for that super chat, Reality Shift. Appreciate you. J. Cole says, so this whole YouTube TV versus Disney thing screwed me out of watching the game tonight. J. Cole, Sling TV, okay, Sling TV. They have a 24-hour sports pass that gets you access to all of their sports channels. I think it's $6. So you can basically pay-per-view this game for $6. You may say, I'm not doing it. Completely understand, but that's definitely an option as well. All right. I was actually sharing that information with Chewy earlier today. Yeah. I've been one of these weirdos that's had ESPN Plus forever because I love Peyton's Places and I want to watch those episodes when they come out. He sold me when him and Brett Favre took the old convertible and went to Lombardi's old house at Lombardi's old bar downstairs. I'm like, I got to have this. I got to have this show. So check out Sling TV's 24-hour sports package pass there. So, yeah, there you go. Mitchell's mommy, Jaco, I purchased one Sling TV day pass, $5 to watch the game. There you go. That's the easiest way to do it, man, for sure. So,
Bates did it. Cat's talking about Clayton coming in clutch. That's the truth. But I hate because I was doing the same thing. I ran around, got an antenna. That didn't work. So I was running it down, finally got it. So that's why I wasn't on the show, right? I had to make sure the game would pull up.
You got Jordan over there with aluminum foil.
Yeah, trying to get a better angle.
Don't move.
Help move. You got it right there. That's it, right there. All right. So the ESPN, they just played a clip here. All right. And it's just going to be the audio. This is from their Monday Night Countdown. We were talking about Micah Parsons earlier. Amelia, I want you to think on this for a second. Me and Jacob, we put a little action on Micah Parsons over 0.25 sack. Okay. Meaning he just has to get a half a sack and that hits. Okay. Mm-hmm. We chose between him and Gary. We want to know, would you pick Gary or would you pick Micah Parsons on that? I'll get your answer after we play this audio. This is Laura Rutledge with SVP over on Scott Van Pelt over on Monday Night Countdown. I think she got a chance to speak to Micah Parsons earlier. If I can get this to play, maybe. Here we go. Not yet. Maybe now. No. Hold on a second. This show sucks. Here we go.
Really interesting how Micah Parsons is chasing around a guy he used to chase around when one played for Dallas and the other played for New York. But Parsons' familiarity with this team and what they're facing tonight, how does that get baked into the approach tonight?
Yeah, Scott, it's something that he knows all too well, right? He said those three offensive weapons for the Eagles, talking about A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, and Devontae Smith, are three of the best to do it in football. And he said you go into a game like this and know that you're not going to pitch a shutout, but he said it's really important to limit the explosive plays. You know they're going to score points on the other side. How can you make sure that it's not detrimental to what you're doing? And for that, it really comes down to making sure that they cannot go over the top and do things that are going to become home runs in this game. Now, then there's the tush push, which he also addressed. He said, listen, I don't know how to stop that thing. It just gives them more momentum every single time it happens. So instead, the goal, avoiding third and short. He said that's probably the best way to stop that tush push, Scott.
You guys remember we talked about that earlier in the week, right? You want to stop the tush push, keep them out of fourth and short, right? Keep them out of third and short, fourth and short. The way do you do that? You play underneath leverage on those crucial third down situations or even second down situations. You say, hey, make them beat us at the 15 to 18-yard mark. Don't let them beat us at the 5 to 7-yard mark, right? But Emilio, what do you think about that? A quarter sack, which one would you take, okay, to just rack up a half a sack, hitting the over on the quarter sack for either Rashawn Gary or Micah Parsons, knowing that Micah Parsons is drawing so much attention? It kind of makes it a little tricky there. And also, you got Devontae Wyatt to choose from, same exact thing.
Ooh, wow. I think I'm going to put it on Bain. I think I'll give him that W there. I think just because, like Halfley's always talked about, we got the Micah protection. This time, at least he can go back and watch a little bit more tape from previous Eagles-Cowboys games on how they approached him, how they, how they kind of wanted to work with him, where they wanted to see him. But I also think you're going to have a good game from the interior to allow those edges to get there. So we're going to need, the general DY and all them to step up inside. But I'm going to pick Gary on this, even though I do think Micah could have one. Gary's the man.
Got it. Jacob, does your opinion change on it? Not that it matters. We already got the bet in, don't we?
To be honest, I feel good about all three of them having at least half a sack. Honestly, if I had to still pick one, I just like the way that Micah Parsons seems like he's in Jalen Hurts' head. Even if it's not I feel like that Jalen Hurts is watching where he is on every pre-snap, and I think that he's constantly worried, knowing that he can't kind of turn his back to him, that he's got an internal clock. I mean, all the quarterbacks do when they're obviously in the pocket, but I think his is ticking a little faster, just knowing that Micah Parsons may be wandering him down on either side. But I do like Emilio's point that there's going to be so much attention on what Parsons is doing that a guy like Gary maybe has a free or a few more one-on-ones where he can just exploit that. And we've seen what Bang Gary, the resurgence of him with the help of Micah Parsons. And to Emilio's point too, I'm really excited for Colby Wooden to have maybe a bounce back breakout game. Same thing with DY. We've got a lot of guys out there that you got to pick your poison. You can't block all four of these guys. I'm just excited about what's going to happen tonight, man.
Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, Mike. He says, are we to the time of year to admit that it was a mistake moving 74 to center? Kind of disappointed in his play this year. I'm disappointed in his play too, Mike, but this has been his level of play even at guard the last couple of years. So I've kind of come to I'll tell you this, I feel very confident that Elton Jenkins has played better than Josh Myers at center. Whether we want to admit it or not, I really do think we upgraded there. Is it a tremendous upgrade? Is it the upgrade that I expected? It's not. right? I expected him to play. When you move to center, you typically your game typically gets a little bit better than guard, right? So I was expecting him to be like a top 10 center, then like a top 15 center is roughly where he's been. I think around the 12 mark last I checked, according to PFF, of course. So I don't think it was a mistake moving 74 to center, me personally. But do I think it's a mistake maybe not going after Drew Dahlman in free agency? That would have been the one I would have went for. And listen, we can all sit here and play Monday morning quarterback and all that, but we didn't have Aaron Banks on our radar. When they signed him, we all went, why? Right? But I immediately had to take a step back and go, guys, Goody is identifying that he's evaluating the talent, right? He's the one who hit on Zach Tom in the fourth round, right? He's the one who hit on Rasheed Walker in the 7th round, right? Elton Jenkins was a stud for a long time. He hit on him in the 2nd round at left guard. So I had to kind of check my ego and go, look, he knows how to evaluate offensive linemen. But if we had it to do over again, it kind of feels like what our initial idea of signing Drew Dahlman at center as opposed to Aaron Banks at left guard probably makes more sense. Elton stays at left guard, but I wouldn't expect Elton Jenkins to play better at left guard because I just feel like the last couple of years he hasn't been playing well there. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it kind of feels like it's Elton's last year in Green Bay. It really does.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And to Mike's point, I mean, to your point, I think Drew Dahlman would have made more sense if you're going to throw some money around. At least you kind of know that he's got a past of proving it, at least on a pretty consistent level. The Aaron Banks thing, I'm still kind of – it's one, the Hobbs and the Banks one is going to be one where unless they come to fruition late in this season, I'm sure people are going to be hanging that over Goody's head for the foreseeable future. And he can't be 100%. The reality is the dude's at like 85% of signing studs in free agency. I mean, so if I'm not willing to throw the baby out with the bathwater and just say, he's terrible at free agent signings. Now he's really good. Like you look back at all the different guys he's brought in here that have either had, completely revamped their careers, gotten them another contract, gotten them more money. I mean, we could go through the list. Rasul Douglas, tons and tons of other ones. And then it seems like when they leave the Packers, they kind of fall back into whatever kind of slump they were in before they got there, or just kind of peak at the Packers, which is exactly what you want if you're signing free agents. But I don't know, Emilio, is that crazy?
Yeah, no, I mean, and also we're talking about it right this second. What happens when it's week 18 and if they're, on a heater or something, and, Banks has just been locking it up, road grading, or, Elton and him are, teeing off on duos and the run game took off. So we're a little, I would say maybe a touch early, Mike, but I totally get, I was hoping to see a lot more from Elton. We had problems with the snap count. We're still having silent count issues. I hate that. We're still having false start stuff. All that stuff has got to stop, especially with a veteran in there, knowing that he's known Jordan for that long. They have a communication relationship. But the thing, and we're going to go back to O-line again, I think, in the draft. I think we kind of just need to you keep adding pieces. Maybe the free agent isn't perfect that Goody brought in, so you got to keep hitting on the draft and going. But again, we got seconds and on, so we'll see what he does moving around.
Yeah, thank you for that super chat, Mike. We appreciate you, buddy. So Bill Huber tweeted out just a few minutes ago, if this holds true, how they're warming up, it will be Jordan Morgan at right guard again. He's been playing fairly well here lately. It seems like he's playing some of his best football here lately. So how do you guys feel about that if it is Jordan Morgan at right guard? Once again, I'm trying to see here and get a look. Everything pretty much stays the same, right? Banks is healthy. He's at left guard. You got Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Elton Jenkins at center, Jordan Morgan at right guard, and, of course, Zach Tom at right tackle. Something to keep an eye on, too. Nolan Smith, if I remember correctly, had a pretty decent game against Zach Tom watching the tape earlier today. I want to say in that playoff game. So maybe Zach Tom can get the upper hand, seeing that last time, I think it was Nolan Smith, if I remember right, kind of caught him off guard. They like to mix and match some of those edge defenders as well. But what do y'all think about that starting lineup? Is there anything y'all would change there? Do you feel like, hey, let's really settle in with those five and see if we can kind of create some continuity moving forward?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like that five. Where we're at right now, I think that's probably our best bet. I'd love to have Ryan as a swing three. I mean, he could be any of the inside three. He's played center for us. He's played guards. So that's what I would rather have happen, because Morgan's not going to swing in and play center if we have a problem with Elton. And so I do think that you kind of need to lean and give him a final position, kind of like you gave Banks that left guard position. Be done with that, and then have your swing inside, and then belt and hopefully your swing tackle if you can go both sides. But I'm good with those five. Jacob?
Yeah, I agree with that. To Coach Len's point that he put on here, I would like to see, hopefully, that we'd see Belton in some aspect throughout the season. But you know what? I mean, I wouldn't want to really force him into this lineup right here. It's like I just don't think you can plug and play him at right guard. To the other, to Cat's point, I really like the progression that Morgan has made, and would I like to see him more on the left side? Sure, but I think that that's our best five. To your point with Ryan kind of floating as that backup guard position, I'm excited. I want to see some continuity. Let these guys stick and play together for a few weeks and see if they start to gel, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, and listen, with Belton being Belton being a second round pick, right? What I think is probably going to happen next year, you move on from Elton unless he takes a big pay cut voluntarily. I'm not expecting him to do that. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but if Elton's gone, you go and try to find your center of the future. If you can't find your center of the future, maybe Tom kicks the center and you got Anthony Belton with a year under his belt ready to step into right tackle, right? Now, the problem there is you got to replace Rasheed Walker. Does at that point Jordan Morgan become your left tackle? All of these questions equal one thing. We don't have an answer for any of those questions, but they do equal we're drafting some offensive linemen this offseason, boys. That's going to happen, right? Which he does all the time. Somebody got some breaking news here? Or is that just
just the fact that we're going after some more? We need to build that wall up, Clay. Been saying that foundation a little iffy without Mr. Glove in there.
You've been saying it since day one, Emilio. Mike Witt with the super chat. Thank you, Mike. Center, D tackle, and cornerback are definitely our biggest draft needs next year. 31-23 Packers to not gut feeling. Love the gut feeling. Love it. So center, D tackle, corner. I like it. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Because your edge room's good, right? Tackle, if Rasheed walks, do you feel good enough about Jordan Morgan kicking all the way back out the left tackle, which I think that's probably his best position just based off what we've seen in the preseason and everything that we've heard kind of coming out of 1265. That's his most comfortable spot, and they love to cross-train for whatever reason. But I'd be okay with that. Jacob, how do you feel about that, man? Center, D tackle, and cornerback. Do you feel like that's our biggest draft needs, or is there another one that comes to mind for you, Rob? Because you got your wide receiver room pretty well set, right?
Mm-hmm. I would honestly maybe pepper in, depending on what Marshawn Lloyd does, taking a swing at maybe a running back, although they're kind of a dime a dozen. You can seemingly find someone as UDFAs. I would maybe pepper in tight end just to try to get another stud in the lineup. But I think that's fair. Center, D tackle, and cornerback. I think I'd probably go center, cornerback, then D tackle, just because I kind of like the rotation we got in that room now. But I think that's a fair assessment.
Got it. Mike, thank you for that super chat. But do you got anything to add to that, Emilio?
No, I think all those points are good. And I think that, again, we need to fight in the trenches, keep finding some guys.
There you go. Nick McSwain said after playoff game, LaFleur said 2/3 of the interceptions were the wide receiver running routes incorrectly. Going to be a different this time around. That's a great point, Nick. This receiving core not made a whole lot of mental mistakes. The only one I've seen, and it doesn't mean it's the only one there is, but just what I've noticed watching the tape this year was a few weeks back when we see Matthew Golden, it was more of a scramble drill. He turned his route up into Christian Watson's post, which got checked to by Jordan. So what that tells me is Golden didn't realize Christian Watson had been checked to the post. And that's just with time, you understanding what everybody's doing on the field at the same time, right? If he has a year under his belt, and maybe to this point, it's only going to get better. Of course, Matthew Golden's not in the lineup tonight, but you got these veteran receivers. They're going to know when Jordan goes to that, then immediately, all right, if I do have to break off my route, whether it's a choice aspect of the offense or it's a scramble drill, I cannot walk him down the seam because Christian's running that post now. These are the things, split decisions you've got to make or pick.
His receiving is tough.
It is. Jim in the chat, good to see you, buddies. Micah Parsons has had 19 solo tackles, 10 assists, and 5 sacks in 7 games against the Eagles in his career. We kind of talked about that earlier in the show, too. We showed those sacks that he had against the Eagles in the last 2 years. I think he's had, what was it, Jacob? 4.5 sacks in 4 games against the Eagles in the last 2 years. So having some pretty good success there. Andy Watkins with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says over under on the tush push attempts, man. What do y'all think? What do y'all think it's going to be?
65%.
65%. That's what the number 3 just popped in my mind.
That's why I said 3. Yeah.
If it's set at 3, would you take the over or the under for tush push there?
Over. I think it's going to be like 5.
All right. There you go.
I hope not.
Hammer that make believe over there. So All right. So we're coming down the stretch here, guys. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We got a bunch of people in here. If y'all would, please take a quick second, help the stream, hit like, hit subscribe, click that bell icon. If you don't want to subscribe, I understand. Well, this show sucks. But do us a favor. Feel sorry for us and hit that like button. All right. And we got QB1 coming down the tunnel here, boys. We're getting close. Jacob, let me hear that noise.
Guys, I don't want to do it, Clayton. I'm holding it in right now, but it's coming. As soon as we get off, I'm gonna go.
Usually that's what she said. Usually when we get to this point, we go, they're coming out of the tunnel. Jacob goes,
I'll throw up.
I'm gonna throw up. Emilio, you got any parting thoughts? There it is. There's that heart.
There you go.
Any parting thoughts? How long do we got anyway to Monday Night Football? Is it just 3 minutes away? That's what the countdown's down to 4 minutes. So we kick off at 8:15 my time, right? 7:15 your time. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap it up. Parting thoughts. How do we feel about this, guys? Before we wrap up.
I'm weirdly confident. That's why you haven't heard any of those noises, Jacob's noises. I think that it's going to be a tough, hard-fought game. I think if we come out with a strong start, it's going to help our odds of winning considerably. I'm going to go 27-17 Packers.
I love it. Yeah, if our defense can keep them under 20, Jacob, I'll be a happy man. I'd love points on our first drive. You got to stay clean with the football. If we can get 100 yards rushing, I think we got a good shot in this game. You got to lean on Josh a little bit, lean on Emmanuel, see if you can get it going. And then, put the ball in Jordan's hands, give him 2 touchdowns. And defense, let's get 1 turnover. I think we got a shot.
All right, what's your score prediction, Emilio? I'm gonna give you a second here to think about it. I'm gonna go 20-17 Green Bay. They win it with a field goal.
Ooh, same with J. Cole. You guys are birds of a feather.
Oh, Jay. I just copied off Jay's papers what I did. What do you think, Emilio? How you feeling? Look at him counting it up in his head. He's like, I played this game on Madden 17 times.
I'm gonna go 31-24.
Ooh.
31-24. All right. Hold up. Pull up 2-0 for this is there. You said 31-24, right, Emilio?
Yeah.
I like that, man. High scoring game. Digging it. All right. He says 2-0 for this in the chest. 42-22 Packers dub. If we win 40, if we drop 42 on the Eagles, Jacob's doing the show with his shirt off tonight. That's happening.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Same thing with Caterpillar. 106 to -3 Packers. I'll do it with my pants off. All right. Yeah. How about that?
We win 106 to -3. Clayton will do a headstand with his pants off tonight.
Here's the guy.
Here's the guy. Respect Orange just says 28-24 Pack. Holmes says a close one, 24-23 Pack. I like it. Love it. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Read them off for me. I'm going to pull up another screenshot here. I got to give a shout out to Big B. He's got the picture of the night here. This is
Nicholas Duran saying the Pack 36. I believe that means Eagles 21. So it looks like we got a lot of hope here. Let's hopefully not have those hopes dashed and spit all over and peed on it.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Love it. Look at this shot by Big B in the stands tonight, boys. Is that not gorgeous? That's going to be our background for the post-game show, right?
Where's Big T's? Where's Big T? Where's Big Timbo's picture? I'm sure he's got an icy one, too.
We showed some videos earlier. Let me go check his Twitter real quick. We're going to be late for kickoff.
We're going to be late. Mandy's going to be screaming.
No, she's all right, man. She'll be okay. She's
Chick Hole says, y'all trying to get canceled? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we try every week.
We don't give in for
we suck at getting canceled too, and we can't do anything.
Hey, this is even better. Olden Dirt says the Monday Night Football crew are all picking the Eagles. Perfect. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
That's what we want to see, man. That's what we want to see. All right, guys. No update from Timbo. We just had the tailgate video earlier, Emilio. They were down there with the band. I said, I guarantee you, he's got the tassels on the chest tonight running around. I guarantee you
he borrowed them from my girls, so yeah, he does.
Oh, did he? Oh, I thought he was
cheese curds and my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
Jacob running a tassel rental service over there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
He door dashes them to your house. They can be there in under 2 hours.
You get $1 back if you return them clean. All right. We just want them washed.
Get the clean fee. This show sucks. All right, guys. Hop over to the post-game stream. We've already got that created, so you guys can hang out in there and use that as a chat. Buy two, get two free, Joe Pack Joes. We'll be in the we'll see you guys for the post-game show. Again, the stream's already created. We won't go live until the game is over. You guys know the rule. If we got a 3-score lead in the fourth, we'll go live then. Until then, we're not jinxing, all right? What did that say? Them tassels, what? What did it say?
Tassels got mustard on them.
No, that ain't mustard. All right, we're out here, guys. We'll see y'all
boy.
tonight for the post-game show. Everybody have a wonderful time. Listen, stay positive, all right? If you jump in the chat, don't just get in there and spam negative, all right? Let's hang out and have a good time tonight. Win, lose, or draw, we'll see y'all for the post-game show. Everybody have a great game. And Emilio, thank you for jumping on, man. Go get your bunny.
Throw up.
Scared money don't make money.
That's right. We'll see y'all at the post-game show. Take care.
There we go.
Bye, guys.